to discuss the importance to have a good seating plan or seating chart to bring about accountability and effective student management on the bus. It's a good way to bring accountability. So first of all, what you do, it's simple. You do a diagram like this: bus driver, all the seats from 1 to 12. Then I get to write the names of the students in their assigned seats. So that's pretty simple. That's what you do. That's a good way to to ensure accountability. For instance, I had a call once. A principal inquired about something that happened on the bus, a comment that was made by a kid to another kid that was a bit troubling. I was unaware of it, and of course he tried to get to the bottom of it, but had some of the information. So if it happens that way, it's easier if you have a good sitting chart. It's easier to get to the bottom of it. That way you know if the principal knows about the kid's first name. You can see, okay, yeah, I know there's a kid of that name that sits right behind that other kid. So that way it's easier to know what's going on. If a fight breaks out on the bus, for instance, that's another situation where the first question that may come up is, where are these students supposed to be sitting? If one of the students is, if the fight breaks out here at seat number 1 and one of the students is supposed to sit in seat number 10, well, there's an issue right there. That might not be the whole story, but at least it's part of the story, so it's good to know. It's important also to be accountable when it comes to possible vandalism, stuff like that. It's easier to know what happened and who is responsible for it if you have a good seating chart. It's easier, when you get a brand new route, you want to learn the kids' names quickly. If you have a seating chart, it's just easier to learn their names that way. That way you know exactly who is supposed to sit where. As far as management, well, there is no perfect recipe as far as how to assign these seats. But there are different ways to go about it. They have advantages and inconveniences. You have to take into consideration the size of the load on that run. Ideally, if you have 40 to 48 students on that load, that's perfect, because we have 24 seats, 2 students per seat. That works perfectly. If you have less than that, that could happen. Like, let's say you have 25 students on the bus. It's better, rather than have them separated, spaced out, I found that it works better if you fill up only half of the bus. Let's say the first 6 seats, you put 2 students per seat, then you leave the other seats from 7 to 10 empty. It just works better. The students are less likely to move from a seat to another to go talk to their friend. Sometimes you have the other situation where you have 72 kids or even more. There's a capacity of 72 passengers on this bus, but the law, at least in the state of Georgia, says that we can sit up to 120% of that capacity. So 86 students. It might be a little bit challenging sometimes if you have that many kids. You might have to find out some kids might ride only in the afternoon, some only in the morning, and then you might not be able to accommodate every student. But anyway, that's what the idea is. It's a good idea to sit the younger students up front, especially the pre-Kers, so that way they're less likely to be bullied. And the pre-Kers are normally much shorter at that age. They have a tendency to stand on their seat to see what's going on. So if you have them up front near you, it's easier to, monitor what's going on and look after their safety. The boys and girls. Certain districts have a policy to separate boys and girls. It has its advantages. At the elementary level, the boys sometimes will be, a tendency to just throw crayons or anything at the girls. So if you sit them, let's say, in front of the girls, they're less likely to, to do that. But always important to check with your district's policy because, it's a bit more touchy. And you definitely want to make sure that it's clear that it's not about separating them. It's about really their safety and prevent, any safety. You don't want any safety issue or bullying issue. That's what this is all about. That's really about to make it work for everyone, so everyone can have a safe and pleasant ride. The good seats, if you have students who need more, closer supervision because of their behavior or whatever, the good seats are the first 3 seats, except for this one over here. This is right behind the driver. You don't have that great of, the view on this seat, but the other ones are good, 1, 2, and 3. I have a coworker. The way she runs her seating chart, she has it by order of bus stop. So the first bus stop sits, first, then the second bus stop and all. It works great for her. I have not experienced it, but evidently there are advantages to it. Be flexible. Be ready to change if there's any change needed. And also a good way to label the seat, magnetic tape. Just like this. You make sure you number the seats properly, and magnetic tape goes a long way to label the seats. That's it.